Imagine finding a coin so rare it could turn your collection into a fortune. Ultra-rare Lincoln pennies, with their hidden stories and minting errors, are captivating collectors and fetching jaw-dropping prices. Let's explore why these pennies are worth far more than their face value. Let me ask you something. Have you ever picked up a penny off the ground, tossed it into a tip jar, or shoved it in your car's cup holder without a second thought? Most of us do it every day. It's just a penny, right? But what if I told you that one of those tiny, copper-colored coins from 1984, the kind most people overlook, could actually be worth hundreds, thousands, or even over $100,000, no joke. And no, this isn't some collector myth or internet rumor. This is real. And it's all tied to the unassuming 1984 Lincoln D penny, a coin that might be sitting quietly in your loose change right now, holding a life-changing secret. Let's start at the beginning. The 1984 Lincoln penny, minted at the Denver Mint, carries the small but important D mint mark under the date. It features the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design that's become one of the most iconic and enduring images on American currency. If you flip it over, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design in use from 1959 to 2008. At first glance, the 1984 D penny doesn't stand out. It's made of zinc with a thin copper coating, a change from the earlier all-copper cents that ended in 1982 due to rising copper prices. It's lightweight, it's common, and over 6.5 billion were minted. That's right, billions. So why are we talking about it like it's a buried treasure? Because in the middle of all those billions, something went wrong. A minting error, rare, bold, and now highly sought after by collectors, slipped into circulation. And it has everything to do with Lincoln's face. Some of the 1984 D pennies were struck with what's called a double die obverse, an error where the coin's front design was impressed twice by the die, but just slightly out of alignment. The result? A bizarre, almost eerie doubling of Lincoln's features, especially around the year I, and the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." This isn't something you need a microscope to see. The doubling is clear, crisp, and dramatic. When collectors first saw it, they knew it wasn't just another minor misprint. This was big. Some nicknamed it the double-ear Lincoln, because the doubling around the ear is so pronounced, it looks like Honest Abe is growing a second one. And while that might sound funny, the value it adds to the coin is anything but a joke. The excitement doesn't end there. You see, coin collectors, especially those hunting errors, know that it's not just about rarity. It's about condition. Most of these 1984 D pennies have been rattling around in circulation for decades. They've been scratched, nicked, worn down. But a few lucky examples were saved early or simply avoided the wear and tear, and those, in mint state condition, are the true gold mines. How much are we talking about? One verified 1984 D Lincoln cent with a bold double die obverse and a top-tier MS-67 grade sold for over $112,000 at auction. Yes, that's 1 cent, turned into 6 figures, because of a minting mistake. And it gets even more exciting. Because that coin wasn't discovered in a museum. It wasn't stored in a vault for 50 years. It was found by someone like you. Someone who took a second look, noticed something off, and had it properly evaluated. Could you have one hiding at home right now? The answer is, absolutely, and don't stop at just looking for doubling. Other 1984 D pennies with errors have also made headlines. We're talking about off-center strikes, where the design is shifted and cut off, broad strikes, where the coin's edge looks distorted or warped, and struck-through errors, where something, grease, fibers, or even a piece of metal, got between the die and the coin during minting. Each of these errors makes a coin rarer, more collectible, and sometimes far more valuable than its humble 1 cent face value. Even crazier, there are stories of proof coins ending up in circulation by mistake. Proofs are supposed to be pristine, mirror-finished coins made for collectors only. But if one escaped from the mint and landed in your change, you might be holding an ultra-rare hybrid, the kind collectors dream of finding. So here's the real question, and I want you to take this seriously: have you checked your pennies lately? Because while most of us are busy hunting for nickels, quarters, and half dollars, some of the greatest hidden treasures are right there in the smallest denomination. Next time you get change from a store, dump out your piggy bank, or sort through an old coin collection passed down from a relative, take a second. Look at those 1984 pennies. Look for the D mint mark. Examine Lincoln's ear. Check the inscriptions. You just might uncover one of the rarest pennies of the 1980s. Imagine turning a single coin into enough money to pay off your car, your student loans, or even put a down payment on a house. Could you have one hiding at home right now? That mystery, that possibility, is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. It's not just a hobby. It's a treasure hunt. A way to turn knowledge, patience, and a sharp eye into serious rewards. So, if you love stories like this, and you want to keep learning about rare coins, minting mistakes, and hidden gems hiding in plain sight, then go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss another chance to discover coins that can change your life. And remember, always check your change. Because the next penny you pick up might just make you a fortune. Up next, we're diving into a topic that could completely change the way you look at your spare change. Imagine this: a penny, something so ordinary that you probably don't give it a second glance, could actually be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. Hard to believe, right? Well, stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll realize just how much potential hidden treasure could be sitting right under your nose. Let's start by talking about the 1988 1-cent penny. At first glance, it might seem like any other penny. It features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, on the front. This design, created by artist Victor David Brenner, has been used on the penny since 1909. The back of the coin shows the Lincoln Memorial, which adorned pennies from 1959 until 2008. The penny itself is made of copper-plated zinc, weighs just 2.5 grams, and was minted in Philadelphia, just like most of the others. It all sounds pretty straightforward, right? A typical, run-of-the-mill penny. But that's where the story gets interesting. You see, there's something about this specific year, the 1988 penny, that makes it stand out from the rest. While most of these pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, there's a rare minting error that makes certain 1988 pennies worth way more than just their face value. So what's the catch? Well, minting errors happen when there's a mistake in the process. These mistakes aren't always easy to spot, but when you do find one, it can make a huge difference in value. The error that we're talking about here is called the double die obverse. This happens when the coin's design is struck more than once, causing the features to appear doubled. In most cases, this doubling is seen on the letters and numbers on the obverse side, the side with Lincoln's portrait. If you've got a penny with this kind of error, you might see doubled features on Liberty, In God We Trust, and even the date. Sometimes Lincoln's hair, or I will also show doubling. Here's where things get exciting. Double die errors are one of the most sought-after mistakes by collectors. These coins are rare, and their value can shoot up if they're in great condition. So, where does this penny stand in the world of coin collecting? Let's just say, it could be hiding a small fortune. Now, before you start sifting through every 1988 penny you've got at home, let's talk about how much one of these coins could be worth. Are you ready for this? One of these rare 1988 double die obverse pennies actually sold for $106,000 at an auction. Imagine that for a second. You've got a simple 1988 penny sitting in your change jar, and without even knowing it, you could have a coin worth thousands. What if that penny you've been overlooking is the one? Could it be hiding right there in your collection? The reality is, you might have one of these rare 1988 double die pennies without even realizing it. They're easy to overlook, especially since most of them are circulated and worn down. But if you happen to find one with the double design, and if it's in good condition, you could be holding on to something incredibly valuable. And even pennies with a little wear can be worth more than you think if they show the error clearly. So, what should you look for? When checking your 1988 pennies, focus on the letters on the obverse side. The Liberty and In God We Trust will be your biggest giveaway. If you notice that the letters look thicker or doubled, you could have the error on your hands. The date of the coin might also appear with a similar doubling effect. Take a close look at Lincoln's features. His hair and eye might also show signs of doubling. The key here is to really examine your pennies carefully, because these errors are small, but they make a huge difference in value, and remember, it's not just about finding any 1988 penny, it's about finding a well-preserved example of this error. A penny with a double die obverse that's in great condition could command a higher price, especially if it hasn't been heavily circulated. Now, I know you're probably asking yourself, could I have one of these rare pennies at home right now? Well, the answer is yes, you could. You could have one of these 1988 double die pennies mixed in with your other coins, and it could be worth far more than its face value. If you've been collecting coins for a while or have a jar of loose change sitting around, it's definitely worth checking through your 1988 pennies to see if any of them have the doubled features that in fact, you don't even need to be a seasoned collector to find this rare treasure. Sometimes, coins with errors are overlooked by the general public, and that's where the value lies. Many people don't realize that a simple error can turn a common penny into a valuable collector's item. Now, before you rush off to check your change jar or search through your coin collection, here's the important takeaway: look closely at your 1988 pennies. If you see doubling, especially on the key areas like the lettering or Lincoln's features, you could have something really valuable on your hands, and the best part? You can start your hunt for this rare coin right now. So, get your hands on those pennies, examine them carefully, and see if you've got a hidden gem on your hands. So, the next time you find a 1988 penny, just remember, it could be worth much more than you think. Happy hunting! The 2001 cent penny. It might seem like just another coin that you toss into your pocket change jar or let slip through your fingers at the store. It's a tiny copper-plated coin with a familiar face, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, staring back at you. It's been around for years, and you probably don't give it a second thought. But what if I told you that a 2000 penny, that seemingly ordinary little coin, could actually be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more? Stick around because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your spare change in a whole new light. Let's take a moment to dive into the details of the 2000 penny. If you've ever looked closely, you'll know that it features a portrait of Lincoln on the obverse, which has been on the penny since 1909. But the reverse side? That's where it gets interesting. In 2000, the reverse design featured a Union shield, a design that replaced the iconic Lincoln Memorial in 2010. This makes the 2000 penny the last to feature the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse before the design change. To most people, it's just another penny, right? But what if I told you that this seemingly basic coin actually has a secret, one that could make it a valuable collector's item? Let's zoom in on the details that make this penny special. You see, like most coins, the 2000 penny was struck with a mint mark, an indication of where the coin was made. Most of the 2000 pennies you'll find will either have a D mint mark for Denver, or no mint mark at all, indicating that it was made in Philadelphia. And that's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Some of these 2000 pennies, struck in Philadelphia, were released without any mint mark. That's right, a penny without the mark that was supposed to indicate where it was minted. That's a major error in the coin's production. And in the world of numismatics, errors like this are what collectors dream about. So, why is this missing mint mark such a big deal? It might seem like a small mistake, but in the world of coin collecting, it's a huge deal. See, every coin that is minted in the United States typically carries a mint mark, which tells collectors where it was made. There are only a few places in the US that produce coins: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Usually, coins made in Philadelphia have a mint mark, but these specific 2000 pennies, those produced in Philadelphia, were accidentally released without one. This minting error, as rare as it is, makes the 2000 penny without a mint mark a highly sought-after coin among collectors. Now, I know what you're thinking: okay, so there's an error, but how much could a small penny really be worth? Well, here's where the fun part comes in. You see, while most of these 2000 pennies are worth just 1 cent, the ones without a mint mark, especially those in excellent condition are worth far more than their face value. In fact, some of these rare coins have sold at auction for thousands of dollars. Yes, thousands. The rarity of this coin, combined with the demand among collectors for error coins, can push its value to incredible heights. But how do you know if you have one of these rare pennies? Well, First, you'll want to check the reverse of the coin, right next to the Union shield. If there's no mint mark, you've found something worth checking out. But just having a 2000 penny with no mint mark isn't enough. Condition is key. The better the condition of the coin, the more it could be worth. If your coin looks like it's just come from a fresh minting process, without any wear or tear, you've got something potentially very valuable. This brings us to the next exciting part, the auction prices. A pristine, uncirculated 2000 no mint mark penny could command a price that makes any collector sit up and pay attention. You might even find one of these error pennies being sold for thousands of dollars at major auctions. This isn't just a rare coin in the way you might expect, it's one of those holy grail types of coins that every serious collector wants in their collection. But here's where things get really interesting: many people don't even realize they have one of these rare coins. If you've ever dumped your spare change into a jar or found old pennies lying around, you might just have a goldmine sitting right under your nose. Could you have one of these 2000 no mint mark pennies in your own collection? Well, it's possible. You may have already stumbled upon a coin that could make you thousands of dollars, and you didn't even know it. Imagine this scenario: you're rummaging through your old coins, looking for something interesting, and suddenly, you spot a 2000 penny. You check it out, and bam! There's no mint mark. Your heart starts racing as you realize what you might have. But wait, there's more. You take a closer look and realize it's in excellent condition, no wear, no scratches. It looks like it was just minted yesterday. Now, what do? You get that penny professionally graded, because that's where the value really comes into play. If the penny is in mint condition, it could be worth far more than just 1 cent. And once you get it graded, you'll have an official assessment of its value. It's not just about having a cool error coin, it's about knowing how much it could be worth and getting the most out of it when you decide to sell it. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for: if you happen to have one of these rare 2000 no mint mark pennies in excellent condition, it could be worth up to $$34000. Can you believe that? A single penny worth thousands of dollars. So, the next time you're digging through your change, keep an eye out. You could be holding a valuable piece of history that's worth far more than you ever imagined. The 2012 USA 1 cent penny without a mint mark, an unexpected treasure among the vast sea of coins, has captured the imagination of collectors, numismatists, and coin enthusiasts alike. At first glance, it may seem like just another penny, small, unassuming, and frequently overlooked. After all, a penny is often the least valued coin in everyday transactions, slipping through pockets, discarded in change jars, or swept away by the wind. But this particular penny has a story that transcends its humble appearance, and that story is worth far more than a mere cent. The history of the penny itself stretches back over 200 years, to the founding of the United States. In 1793, the U.S. Mint introduced the first official U.S. coin, the half-cent. Over the centuries, the penny has undergone numerous changes in design and composition, reflecting the changing political, social, and economic landscape of the United States. By the time we reach the 21st century, the penny had become a staple of daily life, often regarded as a symbol of the nation's identity. Fast forward to 2012. The penny, as we know it today, was primarily made from a copper-plated zinc composition, a material that has been used for decades. The design on the obverse, or front, of the penny, features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been in place since 1909. The reverse side showcases the Union shield, which replaced the classic wheat ears design in 1959. But within this familiar design, something unexpected happened in 2012. During the minting process, a small number of pennies were struck without a mint mark. Every penny produced by the U.S. Mint is usually stamped with a mint mark that indicates where it was minted, either the Philadelphia Mint, P, the Denver Mint, D, or the San Francisco Mint, S. However, due to an error or an unusual quirk in the production process, a small batch of 2012 pennies emerged from the Philadelphia Mint without any mint mark at all. The absence of this mint mark, while seemingly inconsequential to most, was enough to make these particular pennies stand out in a world of mass-produced coins. The absence of a mint mark on the 2012 penny wasn't immediately recognized as a rare or valuable feature. It wasn't until years later, when collectors began to examine and compare the coins from that year, that the significance of the missing mint mark became apparent. Over time, it became clear that this was not a widespread issue but rather a limited anomaly, making the 2012 penny without a mint mark a rare and sought-after item in the world of coin collecting. To fully grasp why these unmarked pennies are so valuable, we must consider the process by which coins are minted and the significance of a mint mark. Every coin produced by the U.S. Mint is struck using high-tech machinery, with the mint mark being stamped onto the coin during the final stage of production. The mint mark serves as a form of identification, allowing collectors and historians to trace the origin of a coin. In most years, pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint are marked with a P, while those from the Denver Mint are marked with a D. However, the absence of a mint mark on the 2012 penny signified a mistake in the production process, an error that would eventually elevate these coins to the status of rare collector's items. The rarity of these unmarked pennies is further emphasized by the sheer volume of coins produced by the U.S. Mint each year. The Mint strikes billions of coins annually, with the penny being one of the most frequently produced. A mistake of this nature, in which a small batch of pennies emerged without a mint mark, would have gone largely unnoticed at first. However, as collectors and experts began to sift through their collections, the rarity of these unmarked pennies became more apparent. They were no longer just pennies, they were anomalies, treasures waiting to be discovered. As word spread about the 2012 penny without a mint mark, the coin began to attract attention from serious collectors. Experts in numismatics, those who study coins and currency, began to examine these pennies with a fine-toothed comb, analyzing their weight, composition, and strike quality. While these pennies were not dramatically different from other 2012 pennies in terms of design, the missing mint mark made them stand out as unique specimens. For many collectors, the appeal of this rare penny lies not only in its historical significance but also in its connection to the larger world of coin collecting. Coins are often valued not only for their rarity but also for their story. The tale of the 2012 penny without a mint mark is one of chance and circumstance, a mistake that led to the creation of a coin that would one day be worth far more than its face value. It's a story that resonates with collectors who appreciate the history and serendipity of coinage, and it's a story that has added to the allure of this particular penny. The rise in value of the 2012 penny without a mint mark is a testament to the unpredictable nature of the world of coin collecting. What might seem like an insignificant mistake, an unmarked penny among billions of coins, has turned into one of the most sought-after rarities in modern coinage. For those who are fortunate enough to own one of these coins, it represents not just a piece of history but also a symbol of how the world of numismatics is constantly evolving. What once seemed like a simple mistake has now become a valuable asset, a reminder that even the smallest details can have a profound impact on the world of collecting. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual observer, the story of the 2012 penny without a mint mark is one that reminds us that in the world of coins, sometimes the smallest details can have the biggest impact. And who knows? That penny in your hand could one day be worth more than you ever imagined.